John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby.
Then on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla Wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah,
for entertainment purposes only.
Welcome to the Godzilla Wins Saturdays pick show. We've got a jam-packed weekend. We've got full NFL playoffs. We have the national championship game on Monday. It is going to be awesome. We're going to break all that down. Going to go over all the NFL coaching hires, rehires, what we know, what we don't know. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers. We're joined by Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, Trent Connor, and Chris Saxman. Remember, we are a gambling show for entertainment purposes only. If you have any issues at all, you can always call 1-800-GAMBLER. And that's 1-800-426-2537. Colorado, Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming. 1-800-327-5050 or visit gamblinghelpline-ma.org. 877-G-HOPE-NY-text, HOPE-NY 467-369 in New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP in Arizona, 1-800-522-4700 in Kansas and New Hampshire, 1-800-BETS-OFF in Iowa, or visit opgr.org in Oregon. All right, I want to welcome everybody to the show. I want to thank our great sponsors, WVSportsNation.com and WV The Torch. Like I said, we're going to be breaking down the national championship game, going to get to the NFL in the second hour, breaking down all those playoff games, and we can recap a little bit of last week's wild card madness, maybe the best wild card weekend in history, maybe the best sports weekend in history when you went from Thursday, Friday with the college football playoffs to the weekend. All right, well, fellas, welcome aboard. Hope you all had a great week. We touched on it a little bit. If you listen to Chris Saxman's awesome show, Renegade Rant, on Wednesdays at 12:30, all over the John Fredericks Radio Network. We had some breaking news right before we recorded that show on Tuesday night, and that is Mike Tomlin left the Pittsburgh Steelers. Seems like he walked in on his own terms. Maybe the little pressure from the outside, but on his own terms, came in and decided it was time to retire as the coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. 19 years. Everybody knows that he never had a losing record. He has one Super Bowl win, one Super Bowl loss. Pretty illustrious career. I'm sure a Hall of Famer going down the line. But writing was on the wall, Chris, but it was still pretty shocking when that news came out, and I'm still processing it.
Yeah, I'm still sitting Shiva. For those of you not familiar with that, that's when you're in mourning for a 2-week period, and people come by and you cover the mirrors, you cover the windows, and you just sit in the darkness in a very low stool, and people come by and give you some support. But yeah, no one was shocked by this. Surprised, yes, but shocked, no. And there's a difference. Mike Tomlin, 19 years in, I think he's a great coach. He's a Hall of Fame coach. But there were some missing pieces there that just couldn't overcome. After a while, I think Mike lost the fans, and that's hard to do in Pittsburgh because the fans are your best friend, and you don't want them turning on you. And I was at that Buffalo game, and it was not pleasant to be in a position where they were at the end of the first half in a relatively decent position, and then to have it blow up in their face in the second half. Sort of got pushed around like Houston did in the playoff game on Monday night, which both of which I endured on the road in cold. Mondays, albeit, was in Anchorage, Alaska. Thankfully, arrived home safely. But it's a time probably a little past when it should have occurred, just for the health of the organization. I think when you lose parts of the I guess, the formula of keeping the team. I think he didn't lose the locker room. I think Harbaugh lost the locker room. Tomlin was never going to lose the locker room. He lost the fans, and you have to engage the fans and tell them what's going on, and not just give, cute, pithy, encouraging sound bites during the press conferences. You got to go out there and engage with people and say, look, this is what we're doing. This is part of the strategy. This is how things are going to get better. And sometimes leaders lose sight of that, and that the ego gets a little bit too brittle in that regard. And I think he lost a little bit of the juice with the fans. And I think the fans have said, we've had enough, Mike, and it's just time to move on. And respectfully so, but it's time to move on.
Brendan, you live in the area. You've had some tough love for him, but we've done a lot of shows together on the Steelers. I feel like you have tough love, but there's a respect there, but it was time, right? Is it?
Yeah, certainly. I mean, I like the guy as a person, and you could tell what kind of person he is based on how the players reacted when he announced that he was over. From what I've heard, it was a tough discussion. Everybody in the locker room took it hard, but like Chris said, it was time to move on. Maybe it was a little past time. Maybe it should have happened sooner than it did. But this is my theory on what is really wrong with the organization. It's not necessarily Mike Tomlin, but I think that they were so obsessed with him keeping that non-losing season record that they absolutely just refuse to rebuild. Now that Tomlin is out of the way, it's a fresh message coming in. The rebuild is inevitable, whether Mr. Rooney wants to admit it or not. Every team goes through this at some point. So I'm excited for what the future has to hold. I mean, it was definitely time to move past. I mean, you can't go into the season, and this is what the Steelers have done the last 10 years. You can't go into every season with the same exact message, the same exact playbook, just doing the same thing over and over again, or you're going to get the same result. And we've gotten the same result over the last 10 years. We either just miss the playoffs by a game, or we just get in the game by a game, and then we get absolutely spanked in the wild card. So it was time to move on, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen from here.
Yeah, Coach Vince, it seems like he was a victim of his own devices to the extent where when he lost Ben Roethlisberger, that's almost like the opportune time to win 4 games or 5 games, get your franchise quarterback, or get a big, important, top draft pick piece to the puzzle. He's so good in this modern day NFL. He's probably the best coach in the modern day NFL without a franchise quarterback to win. And he kept winning with the likes of Duck Hodges, Kenny Pickett, Mitchell Trubisky. And in the end, I feel like that hurts him a little bit, Coach. And then just from your perspective too, obviously, his family is going to be leaving. It's just emotional. And what's your thoughts on this?
Well, a couple thoughts. Number one, what a streak when you're going 18, 19, 20 years without a losing record. That's pretty impressive into itself right there. And oh, by the way, a Super Bowl title in the mix of that as well, too.
Very true.
You look at Mike Tomlin, and I don't know how big of a role he plays in the draft and free agent signings. My guess he plays a little part of it, but I doubt if he's the person that signs the deals and decides this is the guy we're going to draft. So is Mike Tomlin to blame for all this, for not going deeper? Well, if you're not drafting well, if you're not signing free agents, I mean, you just listed a name of a bunch of quarterbacks that were supposed to be their franchise quarterbacks. None of them materialized since Big Ben has left. The other night, I thought in Aaron Rodgers' press conference, and I can't remember who it was actually a press conference or on the field. And when asked about Mike Tomlin, he shut the reporter straight down and says, Mike Tomlin is one hell of a coach. Right. And he even sung praises of his of LaFleur at Green Bay. And let's be honest, there's been friction with Aaron Rodgers and previous head coaches in the past, most notably Mike McCarthy. And for him to just go out of his way and say, hey, Mike Tomlin and LaFleur, if they want to come back and coach, they should have that opportunity. And I think that spoke a lot, not just about Rodgers, but it spoke more about Tomlin. And in just a short amount of time that Aaron Rodgers has been in Pittsburgh, how he's really, really respected Mike Tomlin. So if Mike Tomlin wants to be a head coach in the future, I'm sure there will be a lot of doors, a lot of people knocking on his door.
For sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Trent, I think a lot of it, and why Tomlin isn't there anymore, is when you look at the streak of not winning in the playoffs, it extends beyond Ben Roethlisberger's retirement. When Ben Roethlisberger was here, there was an abject failure in the mid 2010s when you had Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Big Ben. Now there was Shazier's spinal injury, the tight end catch where we don't get home field and we play Jacksonville and we get, so there was, and obviously the Tim Tebow game. So Trent, there are some real things. Then when you go look on it, they get blown out of the playoffs again. The writing was kind of on the wall, right?
Yeah, I think there's no doubt that Mike Tomlin is a great head coach and has been for a long time. I mean, I'm looking here. He's won 63% of his games in 2 decades. But like you said, Mitch, you have to win in the playoffs if you want to continue to coach at a high level, especially with the Pittsburgh Steelers, one of the most winning franchise in the NFL. You have to win those playoff games. And I think you guys touched on it, the quarterback carousel that they've had for the last couple of years after having Big Ben in there, he brought so much stability to that position for, decades. That quarterback carousel had to be solved, I think, sooner, and the rebuild, like Brendan stated, kind of got put on pause. The Patriots kind of went through this after Tom Brady left. They had Garoppolo, Cam Newton. They went through this quarterback carousel until they finally lost one season and got their quarterback in the draft. I think the Steelers may have to go through a losing season, to get the quarterback of the future.
Definitely.
John, they have a number of draft picks, so they can trade up if they want to. There's some assets there, but I think as far as it's not all, to Brendan's point, it's not all on Mike. Maybe it was Vince. I got to lay some of the blame at Kevin Colbert for the drafts before. Omar Khan's had some pretty good drafts, but you also have to recognize that the NFL. One of the reasons why Tomlin stands out to me is because it's a parity league. It's a salary cap league. It loves 9 and 8 and 9 teams going into the final weekend. And let's not kid ourselves. When you have a franchise quarterback like a Mahomes, like a Lamar Jackson, that's expensive and it takes away from the rest of the team. And putting together a Super Bowl winning team means you have to have talent up and down the line. You can't have holes. The NFL, the Steelers shouldn't have to say, oh, we lost Ryan Shazier to a spinal injury and that ruined our chances. But that's a hole in the lineup that hurts and can be exploited. That's how technically precise the NFL really has come to be. But when you have that NFL quarterback, that franchise quarterback, and you earn $50-60 million a year, that takes away from all those offensive line and skill players that you need to have on the field. But I also think it underscores how Mike Tomlin was actually a really good coach for that many years in a league that is built on parity and with a salary cap. So we'll see what they come up with. Tomlin moving on, and I don't think it's going to be an easy turnaround like everyone thinks it's going to be. And the Steelers, John, they have the classiest fans in the world, and I'm kind of glad it happened now because the Buffalo game where you saw the Boo Birds come out. You heard the Boo Birds come out a little bit at the end of the wild card game, which I know everybody would take back if they knew that was Tomlin's last game. No one would have done that. But I'm glad that he did this. It was the right time because I cannot imagine, and his legacy does not deserve a full season of Boo Birds coming out there. And the one thing we talked about before you got on, John, is that he still controlled that locker room. He never lost a locker room. Even when Antonio Brown was trying to do it, even when Le'Veon Bell was trying to do it, everyone would rally behind Tomlin, and that was key. The Athletic article where they're talking about players crying, Aaron Rodgers saying it's my fault. It was emotional. John, he's a man of God. I love him, and I'm going to miss him. Yeah.
He'll love Nashville. There's no state taxes in Tennessee. You don't have to pay any tax. We'd love to have him. It's interesting listening to you guys, Steelers fan, bitch and moan about you didn't win a playoff game and this and that. You got like 20 straight winning seasons. You make the playoffs 7 out of every 8 times. You got a fan base that loves your team. You wave towels. You have fun. You win games. You're in the hunt. You beat the Ratbirds. And then all you do is whine. This was the greatest coach in the NFL. I'll take him in a heartbeat. You're right. He's a man of God. All he did was win games, and he ran it his way. Le'Veon Bell, pain in the butt, got him out of the locker room. Antonio got him out of the locker room. George Pickens wouldn't run out routes where he was maybe the 3rd or 4th option. kicked him out. I mean, I'll take this guy in a heartbeat. You guys are so lucky. You had so many wins in so many wins in so many seasons, and we're always in the hunt. We live in a relative world. I root for a team that's won 5 games in 2 years. I'll take him. Love to have him. Look, too bad about Rodgers. The guy was done. No question about it. But, there's something about seeing Tomlin. I mean, I'm a Catholic, but there's something about seeing Tomlin come out in that field with that, humongous crucifix on. I mean, it was hard not to love the guy. And I think if he decides to coach again, I hope he ends up in Tennessee ASAP or somewhere. But wherever he is, the guy's a proven winner and a leader of men. And we need more Mike Tomlins on earth in this world.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
Yeah,
Hey,
Brendan.
Mitch, can I jump in? I'm
For
3,000
anytime.
miles away, but this is, I think, a bad part of NFL history. But let's go back to my beloved Colin Kaepernick when the whole taking the knee incident happened in around the 2000. I'm trying to think, not 2000. When the heck was that?
2016,
2012 or something.
2015, 2016.
It was right when
And
Trump first got in
the
office.
two biggest outspoken football people about players taking knees was Jerry Jones and who else? Mike Tomlin. He told the players, if you're going to take a knee, stay in the locker room.
Yeah, he did.
And then you can come out after the national anthem. And that took a lot of balls to do that. It really did.
Who was the tackle we had?
You can kind of poo-poo Jerry Jones, but for an NFL head coach to take that stance, that showed the character of a Mike Tomlin.
Then we had a tackle that was in the Army, right? Who was
Villanueva.
Yeah, Villanueva. Yeah, and he led the team. He led the team out that day. Yeah, that was perfect. Chris, what does it look like? What's a perfect start to the new era look like next year? Is it a 3 wins or 4 wins?
No,
look.
I'm gonna. People have been knocking the Steelers for settling for making the playoffs and not winning wild card games. That's not our threshold. Our threshold are AFC championship games. Our threshold is getting to the divisional round. That's what we expect. We don't expect to break even every year. And once you build that into the psyche of your fans, they're going, what do you mean? We show up in January for a reason. This is when the season starts for a lot of us, right? There's a different threshold. So they're not going to go, and this goes back to the Rooney's. We play to win every week. That's just how we roll. So what it's going to be like, they're going to. It's not a rebuild. It's a shuffle. It's going to be reloading in certain areas, but by and large, they're going to find a mobile quarterback, which Aaron Rodgers is not. It's just not there anymore. You got to have a guy who extends the drives and keeps the offense on the field and the defense off the field. Because you saw what happened against Houston. Those guys were just worn down by that running game, and they couldn't get the offense to stay on for more than one series at a shot. And so you got to have a mobile quarterback who completes high percentage of passes, and an offensive coordinator who can move the ball down the field. A lot of pieces are still there. They got some free agents. They'll sign him. Gainwell should get paid. God bless, he gets paid. They'll fill in on the draft, but they're not going to take it like let's tank this season. That is so un-Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, it's not even the realm of possibilities and thinking. They just don't do this. They don't expect it. And the fans would absolutely lose their marbles if they said we're gonna plow in a season for a high draft pick. That's a gamble anyway. They got some good quarterbacks in free agent. I like Will Howard. I'd like to see Aaron Rodgers come back and be the quarterback's coach if he doesn't come back at all. I think there's a lot. Cool. I think there's a lot to work with there, and it's a damn good team. But they need a new, fresh start on offense and defensive thinking, no question.
Hey guys, do you see the Steelers going with an offensive mind as a head coach or a defensive mind?
They've interviewed. They're calling interviews for. They're almost all defensive minded, young defensive minded coordinators so far. But I think they're going to look at everything. But I think that what they're looking at is a young defensive coordinator that will bring in another young up and coming.
I would rather see them go offensive minded this time, just because I think the right move at this point, even if you put him out there and he sucks right away, at some point you got to put Will Howard out there. This guy is supposed to be the future. I think that I would give him the starting job this year. If we only have, I know what you said earlier, Chris, but at some point the team has got to rebuild. If we have a couple 4 or 5 win seasons, I'm fine with that. I mean, the Patriots did it, and they're the number 2 seed in the AFC this year. Why can't that be us if we handle this right? put your future
Unthinkable.
quarterback. Put your.
Well,
future- I know the fans wouldn't like it, but I'm just saying, long term, it might be the way to go.
Well, Trent,
It might be
I'll
the way to go.
let Trent get in on here too. So I don't think it would be a tank like you go, okay, let's lose these games. But if you decide to start, if you decide that Will Howard is your starting quarterback week 1, you're going to win 3 to 5 games. I don't know where this narrative came in that he's the future of the Steelers. I mean, I get it. I don't think he's
the future. I think he could be really good.
Hey, you want a good
quarterback? But it's going to take time from the build.
You want a good quarterback? Start Will Howard every game next year, and next year you'll have a good quarterback. Trent, do you think any reason there's not going to tank, but they would just put a subpar team out there, right?
Yeah, I don't think they'd put a subpar team out there, but if Will Howard's leading the charge in his first year, who knows how it goes? I mean, like Brendan was saying, the Patriots did this. They tried multiple different things. They had Jimmy Garoppolo drafted and waiting in line behind Tom Brady. That didn't pan out. They drafted Jacoby Brissett, and he was kind of in line behind Garoppolo and Brady. That didn't work out, although Brissett's a solid backup quarterback now. They brought in the free agents. They drafted Mac Jones, who was a higher pick than Will Howard is. So there was a little bit more pressure on him and expectation, and that didn't pan out. And then, they suffered for a couple of years, and they got Drake May, who looks to be the franchise quarterback. So I don't think it's like a bad thing that if the Steelers end up lose, like only winning 4 or 5 games, getting that draft pick. But with the defense that they have typically, I don't see it happening because defense wins multiple games in the NFL. So I don't see it happening, but it's not out of the realm of possibilities.
One thing I want to bring up.
Don't you see them moving some players? Don't you see them right now moving Metcalf? God forbid, moving Watt? I mean, if it can get you a 2nd-round draft pick,
I definitely see
Watt draft pick. I think that's enticing to think about.
Watt's contract would be tough.
I just don't know if he want to be here now. I mean, think about it. He hasn't won a playoff game yet, and now Tomlin's gone. Would Watt really want to stick around?
Yeah, I mean, but he has to.
You guys got it. You guys are really getting ridiculous.
Well, they're talking about.
Now you're talking about your best defensive end wants to not go there because they might not get in the play. I mean, come on, you know how ridiculous you guys sound.
We haven't been here in 20 years,
You've
John.
got
We don't know what to do.
You've got a winning franchise. You got a winning ownership. You had a winning season again. You made the playoffs again. I tell you what, you guys have missed. You know what the buried headline is here? Arthur Smith lost any opportunity for anybody to hire him as a head coach, went down in that playoff game. I mean, the guy called the same 3 plays on the first, 9 drives.
Hey, that's your
over
next
and over and over. Hand off, lose 2. Inside, sweep, lose 1. Long pass down the sideline, 3 and out. If he called the same thing 9 times. The guy's supposed to be an offensive guru genius. That was a terribly called game in that playoff game. So anybody that hires him off that game, they definitely want to tank.
Your next head coach of the Tennessee Titans is
Arthur Smith.
No, it's going to be. I tell you what, we got to go. Look, who will it be and who will I want it be are diametrically opposed. Who I want it to be is a winning coach that's mature. Like I'll take Mike McCarthy as my number 1, the red-haired young fella from Dallas. Now he's older. Number 2, Jason Garrett. I'll take him. But no, if you want to know who the Titans are going to pick, go down the list, find out the stupidest possible choice they could make, and that's who Amy's going to hire. I mean, it's really easy to figure out.
Pete Carroll, he's back out there.
He'd be great too. I mean, they'll find somebody. Well, at least he's got a winning record. I mean, the guys are interviewing. Kingsbury, this one, that one, Spagnuolo. None of these guys were over 500. Like, you got a brand new team here with the biggest salary cap space in the NFL, with the most draft picks in the NFL, 8, and a franchise quarterback. And I want a winning coach that knows how to win games. They're not going to do that. They'll pick some retread offensive or defensive coordinator with a losing record, and the team will be a disaster again. So you guys are complaining? Oh my God. I'd trade places with any of you in a heartbeat.
We would.
You probably have more playoff wins than us in the last.
You do. They does. He definitely does. With Derrick Henry,
we only got 3 playoff wins
Good
since
point.
2010, John. That's what we're complaining about. What is the difference between making a wild card, getting blown out, versus having, a 6-win season every year?
It's
really not that
because
different.
you're in the hunt. Like
We're not in the hunt. We know how the movie's going to end before it gets there.
Come on, it was 7-6 going into the fourth quarter, man. We were close last week. We could have done it.
Come on, man.
Gone on a run.
The way that offense was performing, we knew it was over. Don't pretend that you thought
it never felt good.
All right.
No, it never did. You could tell how it's going to go.
All right, you're listening to Godzilla Wins Saturday show. We are breaking down Mike Tomlin's retirement from the Pittsburgh Steelers. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, Brendan Statler, Vince Miller, Greg Connor, Chris Saxman, John Fredericks.
We're not whining. We're not complaining.
I am thrilled right now. We're finally turning the page, man.
Jimmy Page, baby. Let's go. All right, so a lot of GMs.
You guys are hilarious.
A lot of the GMs normally when the regular season ends, they get to go to sleep, but they need to be up. They need to be on their toes. They need some healthy cell, don't they, John? They're trying to hire coaches, fire coaches. Tell everybody about, is that where we're going? Healthy? Yeah, healthy cell. Sorry. Yes.
Well, I don't know what you guys are doing out there. You want to get a good night's sleep or not? You want to feel better or not? You want to jump out of bed with energy because you have the deepest sleep you can possibly have with vitamins, all natural? Then if you don't take REM sleep, which is pennies a day, you're depriving your body of the nutrients it needs to go into a deep sleep and feel better. For the amount of money you're going to spend, it is literally pennies a day to down that thing like Ann and I did last night. I went to bed. I was tired last night. I got back from wherever, Richmond. I did that ridiculous debate. It's the biggest waste of my time on earth. But hey, I'm a team player, right? I'm there. Anyway, I got home last night and then McCune made me take the big camera, so I can't fix it here today. So I get home, I'm tired. Man, I slept 10 hours last night, popped that REM sleep in, I was out, jumped out of bed today at 7:30, ready to go. This is the best thing that you can do for your body. Doesn't matter how old you are, right? You can be a teenager, you can be an athlete, you can be a little bit older. Sleep is the most underestimated thing in your body, and you need the deep sleep. And how you get there is through REM. Now, you can take other things over the counter and pills and stuff like that. Those are no good. You want to go natural with REM sleep. All you got to do is go to healthycell.com, healthycell.com, promo code Godzilla. Going to get 20% off your first order. And it works immediately. There's no 2 weeks, 3 weeks, a month. Boom, 15 minutes before you go to bed, going to go into a, helps you fall asleep. And then you get that deep sleep. You're going to dream like crazy. That's what. But you need to dream because that puts you in the REM sleep mode, which is where your body replenishes itself. Healthycell.com, promo code Godzilla, 20% off. Get your REM sleep now. Have as much energy as I do at 68. Let's roll.
Yeah, you got to tap into that consciousness, baby. Get those dreams going. Let's go. All right, let's move on real quick. One of the other shocking things, I know Mike Tomlin retiring was end of an era in Pittsburgh, but John Harbaugh being fired in Baltimore may have been more shocking. We talked about it on the last show. Super Bowl champion, consistent playoff team, but lost the locker room. No question about it. It became between him and Lamar Jackson, and that seems like that is just right out there. Steve Bisciotti, the owner of the Ravens, put on one of the best press conferences I have ever seen. During it, Mike Tomlin gets fired. He reacts to that. But they asked him specifically, if the kicker doesn't miss the kick, is Harbaugh your coach? And he said, yeah, for one more week. I mean, so he was gone no matter what. And his comments about Mike Tomlin, if he would hire him or not, he said, he goes, oh, we might think about that, but only if the Steelers hire Harbaugh. And then he said, once he did this thing, he was off the thing. So Bisciotti gives a great press conference, but Harbaugh, unlike Tomlin, Harbaugh was like, F you all. I'm going right back into this mix. He was the number one coaching candidate, and the New York Giants they're in the process, right, of finalizing the deal to hire John Harbaugh. Coach Vince, I'll throw it to you on the West Coast first. The Giants have been that team that we hope the Steelers don't become. They lost their franchise quarterback a long time ago, a little bit before Big Ben, have never been able to recover, and they've been gone through a couple coaches, and finally they've settled on one that is a pretty damn good coach. Do you think he'll get the job done and get the Giants back to respectability?
Yeah, I have to believe he will, as long as, and I think the big, because the ink hasn't been put on paper yet, is I think Harbaugh wants a bigger role in the draft and player personnel. That's the impression I'm getting right now. And if they reach that agreement, then I guess they're talking about Tuesday possibly having the official signing party. No, they got a good win in Harbaugh. And the one thing about the Giants, unlike the New York Jets, is the Giants have a historically good run with their football program. Parcells won a couple Super Bowls. Obviously, Coughlin won a couple Super Bowls with Eli Manning. And speaking of Eli Manning, an Ole Miss grad, and who's the New York Giants starting quarterback? None other than Ole Miss's
Smoking
Jackson
darts.
Dart, right? So I think that they've got some nice young pieces in place. They got the Thibodeau, the edge rusher from Oregon. Scatterbo from Arizona State, as long as he comes back healthy from his broken leg. Pieces are there, and they'll have some nice draft picks as well this year as well too. They'll play the free agency. You know what? The Giants, if they draft well this year and get some key signings, they could be a playoff team next year. They really could. Because you really think about it, are the Eagles getting better? No. When we thought Washington was like, oh, here's this up and coming Washington, they fell down hard. The Cowboys are the Cowboys, right? And the NFC East is there for the taking in year one.
Yeah, Trent. I mean, this is the Giants may have been the premier job, except for Baltimore, obviously. But you have your franchise quarterback in place. Like you got Thibodeau, Scatterbo, all these Frenchmen running around everywhere. What are we going to do? Are the Giants are they going to win the NFC East in their first year? Is Harbaugh going to flip this thing upside down 1 year?
No. Yeah, I think it was the premier job for any head coach. And I think one guy that no one mentioned yet is Abdul Carter. Yeah. He really came on hot there at the end of the season. I mean, felt like he had like 4 or 5 sacks there in the month of December. He was young. He didn't play a lot in the start of the season, but he really came on strong there at the end. And I think he is one player that Harbaugh saw and was like, he sees someone who's a great linebacker, great edge rusher, and Abdul Carter, and I think he could be the difference in this team moving forward. They've had a lot of good pass rushers in New York. Michael Strahan. And then you pair that with a quarterback like Jackson Dart, who is pretty mobile. I mean, he takes hits, of course, but that's part of his game, and I think it's something you're going to have to live with moving forward. But if you develop him into more of a pocket passer who extends plays with his legs rather than a mobile quarterback who sometimes makes a big play with his arm, I think that could be a good recipe moving forward for Harbaugh and the Giants.
Yeah, Chris, do you have any problem with Harbaugh shopping for all the groceries? He seems like a man that is more of a delegator, brings in coordinators, runs it more like a general manager, like a franchise. I just think that to Vince's point, they're probably trying to figure out how much, control does he have? Is he 100% or is GM 50-50? But I wouldn't have a problem with Harbaugh doing some general manager duties, would you?
I never like it in an NFL coach. I mean, I think it's always good to collaborate with the general manager on the draft pick and the salary cap and evaluations. I think it's healthy to have that, but you have to delegate the responsibilities and stay in your own lane, but work collaboratively as a team. I don't think it's ever worked out well when a coach does that. To my knowledge, every time a coach does it, it just doesn't go well for the team. That said, I hope the Giants do it because I'm not a Giants fan. I don't want them to succeed any more than I want any other team in the NFC to succeed. But no, I don't think the Giants take the NFC East next year. Could be competitive, getting to the playoffs, 8-9, 9-8. That's a healthy next step. They got number 5 in the draft pick this year. That'll be key to determining where they're going to go. I think he brought over Todd Monken for his OC from Baltimore. So, so he obviously likes the offensive coordinator he had in Baltimore. I think Baltimore still has a lot of unanswered questions. What to do with Lamar Jackson, his salary cap hit, his inability to stay in the pocket. He's getting flushed. He's getting hit more and more. He's not playing full seasons anymore. The reason why John Harbaugh is not with the Colts isn't because of a missed field goal. It's because Lamar Jackson keeps getting hit and keeps getting injured, and they keep losing games that he's not starting quarterback. That's why they didn't make the playoffs. I mean, let's just call it for what it is. So there's some responsibility on Lamar Jackson and the rest of the team there to remain healthy and stay on the field. So good on John Harbaugh for staying in the game and diving right into a great job, a great opportunity at the Giants, great franchise. And I think he'll do well there and be a far more competitive position for the NFC East than they were in the last couple of years.
I was a little surprised with the Todd Monken bringing him over, but I feel like Todd Monken's a good coordinator. It's just Lamar Jackson didn't want to do all the things, right, Brendan? I think he'll try to show what the offense was supposed to look like in Baltimore with Dart.
No, I agree 100%. I think it's going to be a good fit for both of them. And, you know, I'm not ready to say that the Giants are going to make the playoffs next year or anything like that, because that's incredibly hard going from picking, what did we say, number 5 in the draft, to going up and making the playoffs. It's very rare that happens. But I will say this will be their best year since Eli Manning retired. They're heading in the right direction with bringing in Harbaugh. They just need to let Harbaugh come in, do what Harbaugh did in Baltimore, essentially, and this team's going to be right back.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, joined by Brendan Statler, Vince Mayoko, John Fredericks, Chris Saxman, and Trent Connor, breaking down all the NFL coaching changes of the two biggest ones from the AFC North or in the NFL with Harbaugh and Tomlin. We're going to get to the national title game, but I wanted to get to Major League Baseball. John, you've been talking about, we were talking about it early. Kyle Tucker gets signed by the Dodgers. The Dodgers now is it in excess of $400 million payroll right now. We've talked. You've talked exquisitely about what the NFL has done, especially in the 80s and 90s, to get a salary cap and do this. It seems like the right way. Major League Baseball has to do something because it's getting egregious now.
You simply can't go on this way. The game is not going to survive. I mean, I've been ringing this bell now for a long time. And I'm telling you guys, it can't survive. The Kyle Tucker contract, good for him. Generational wealth is a joke. I mean, the guy's getting $60 million a year. Per game, he's now the second highest paid player. He's a marginal right fielder. He's a pretty good hitter, but he's not going to win you single-handedly a World Series. This is not a, Shoney a Tony. So it was $60 million. I mean, you think about this, guys. You play 162 games. Ooh. Basically, you're getting you're getting $500,000 a game. You get 5 at bats a game. You're getting $100,000 an at bat. I mean, it's becoming ridiculous. Yeah. And again, good for Tucker and his family, but you can't sustain this. Then the Mets turn around. They get Bo Bichette. You got basically 3 or 4 teams that have the money, because of the markets they're in, to be able to buy up all the players. And there's no way to survive this. There's no way to manipulate the salary cap or add to the luxury tax. You got to revamp this thing. You've got to make it where everybody's got an equal opportunity. You've got to respect the fans. Fans are not respected. I mean, if you live in one of these small market fans and you root your tail off for the team, you have no hope. You have no hope in Pittsburgh. You're not going to keep Skeens. The Tigers aren't going to keep Scoble. None of these guys stay, right? We couldn't keep Framber. Nobody stays because there's a handful of teams that got all the money that are going to pay them. Now, there needs to be a hard cap, not a pansy ass thing like the NBA did. A hard cap with a hard floor. So you got to spend the money or you got to sell the team. Get out, right? Yes. That gives Pittsburgh an opportunity. That gives all of these little teams, because the owner of the Pirates and the owner of Sacramento A's and Miami, they figured out by losing games and not paying anybody is how they maximize their margin and their profit. It's an insane way to run a franchise. But hey, these guys are business people. You got to get that salary cap in. There's got to be a strike, and I'm telling you guys, this can't be pansy ass. This has got to be a year. You lock them out in December, nobody gets paid. You lock them out a year, and I'm telling you, these minor league kids getting $2,500 a month, they're going to cross the picket line. So we're going to showcase minor league games. We're going to shove it up everybody's butt. I don't care what Scott Boras has to say. If you are a baseball fan like me and you love the game and you grew up with it since you're 5 years old, this thing has got to change. It's got to change now. And these owners have to have the courage to do the lockout for a year. And then you get back, because these guys that are older, they can't give up 2 seasons. And then all the fans are gone and you have nothing. But you got to do it for 1 year, and you got to get a salary cap, and it's got to be real.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Totally agree. And I'm fine with it. As a fan,
100%.
I'm totally fine not watching Major League Baseball every night. I can find something else to do.
Bingo.
Fix the game. Fix it. I don't care. I'm fine with it.
It's just going to suck because the Pirates will probably put together a good team and then finally they'll walk out for a year. But I'm old enough to remember in 1995, all of a sudden the Expos were good. The Yankees were good for the first time in 20 years. And then boom. And that lockout was disappointing because they did not do what you're saying. And there was a hard stance to try to get that done because the writing was on the wall. They
never got it done. And then they caved and they came back because they got scared, right? They got afraid. There's a handful of owners that they want this to go on because they're making a fortune, and the luxury cap to them is a joke, right? Because of the money they make. So the owners caved 2 times. They caved in. This time, I think they learned their lesson. They can't cave. You got to have the lockout. Let the fans start walking away. I'll go watch minor league baseball. I'm good with that. Or college baseball. I'm sick of this stuff. And they got to have the balls to finally fix it. We're going to see who mans up.
Yeah, and Vince, it seems like it's one of the complicated parts is the TV money, right? Because there's just some areas that just have more TV money, and then how can you tell them what they can spend and what they can't? Obviously, MLB is going to have a lot to get through with this. This is not something they're going to be able to do on a weekend. It will take a year or 2 if they're going to try to fix the game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, let's not forget that a month ago the Dodgers signed the best closer on the market in Edwin Diaz as well too.
Right, yes.
So they have sent not just one but both middle fingers to all small market teams the Dodgers have. And they basically said, we don't care about the Pirates, we don't care about the Marlins, the Rays, the A's, and we don't care about paying a luxury tax because we got so much money that we can buy ourselves another World Series title this year. And that is bad for baseball. And I'm a Giants fan, so I hate the Dodgers anyway, but it just gives me more reason to hate the Dodgers. The one thing, last night we had our hot stove, we call our triple play dinner to kind of kick the season off. And yes, it is baseball season in California, boys.
All right. It's snowing outside in Virginia.
It's snowing here in Pennsylvania.
I bring in Alan Winans, who's bounced back. He was in the Braves organization last couple of years in the Yankees organization and has had some great numbers in AAA. Comes up, makes a couple starts for the Yankees. One of those type of guys that revolves between AAA and the major leagues. And he just recently signed a 2-year deal with a Japanese professional league team. And most of those guys, when they go to Japan, they sign 1-year deals. Well, Alan has a pretty smart rep because they signed a 2-year deal knowing in 2027 there's going to be no Major League Baseball. So while the Michael Tuckers and the Edwin Diaz of the world in 2027 won't be getting squat, okay, Alan will be getting 1.2 million of tax-free money in Japan.
That is amazing. That's such a good idea.
It's interesting that you said that, Coach Vince, because I was talking to my son Joe last night, and he's with me. He thinks they needs to get locked out, but he said that all these pitchers and everybody we see going from the Korean League and the Japanese League to the major leagues, he says what you're going to see at the end of 26 is this major outflux of pretty good MLB players going to pitch in Japan and Korea. So it's going to go the opposite way for 27 is people, they don't have these big contracts, but they still want to play ball. They don't want to lose a season as they're getting older. He said they're all going to go to Japan and Korea. Kind of an interesting idea.
What's the Tom Selleck movie, Mr. Baseball? Was that it?
Mr. Baseball. Yeah.
You have hold in the swing. Have hold in the swing.
All right. You're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday pick show. We're actually going to do a pick after John tells us all about the wellness company, who I can't get away from. It's everywhere. I don't care if it's Dr. Drew. Everybody is talking about the wellness company. I can't get up. If I'm watching Fox News the other night, it's on everywhere. Let everybody know, John.
It's pretty unbelievable. I was their first vendor to carry their advertising way back in the day when they launched the company just at the end of COVID. COVID, and now it's all over the place. So I guess I can take some solace in that. But look, I'm just a believer in it. I mean, I've got the contagious kit. I've got the emergency medical kit. I got to reach down here a second because I didn't bring it up, but like I just went to Richmond the other day. Now we're going to Santa Barbara for the RNC meeting for a week. Saxman and I going to Iowa. I've got my medical emergency kit. I got my contagion kit because I can't afford to get sick and be out days, especially when you're on a bus tour or you're out in an event. So I travel with these. Something I start to feel sniffles or something, I take my Z-Pack immediately. I've got the nasal spray in here, the dehumidifier. Everything is at my fingertips between my contagion kit, my medical emergency kit. It's the new way to do preventative medicine. Everybody wants to treat the symptoms after you have it, but you know the main thing is if you're getting sick, if you feel it, then you can immediately get into preventative medicine with your contagion kit or your medical emergency kit, and these things are not expensive. So all you got to do is go to twc.health/Godzilla, twc.health/Godzilla, promo code Godzilla, going to get you 10% off. Every single family should have at least one contagion kit, one medical emergency kit. You want to travel with it, be sure you have in the car. Anything that goes down, you got it right here. There's a guidebook with it, and it's the new way to do medicine in America. twc.health/Godzilla, 10% off, promo code Godzilla. Protect you and your family and do it now.
Especially traveling Richmond, Santa Barbara, and then Iowa. That's like a poop sandwich. Santa Barbara sounds fun. The other two sounds, I don't know.
Saxman's coming with me in the Iowa bus tour.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right,
let's have so much fun, man.
What do you guys do? You guys just, he's in Alaska. He takes pics in the sand all the time. Chris is everywhere.
Here's the bottom line. You got to talk to the people. The biggest risk of me being in Washington, D.C., which I love my city, safest city in America. I love being here. It's gonna be tough to get Ann and I to move out if Republicans keep winning. But you stay in a bubble here. There's a bubble, and you got to get out. You got to talk to people. You got to talk. And if you don't know what's going on, you go to the heartland. You go to the Midwest. You're going to find out there. You're going to find out the truth. That's why I'm spending a week in Iowa, and I'm taking Saxman with me, so I have a drinking. Let's go.
I'm ready to go. All right, we're going to make one pick in this hour. National championship game, college, coming up on Monday night. Miami versus Indiana. On one side, you've got Indiana, undefeated, right? Big Ten champions, dominant through the playoffs, big-time favorites, crushing people by 40 points a game. You got Miami, ultimate survivor. They have gone through Texas A&M, Ohio State, Ole Miss in a thriller. This one, it has epic feelings about it. It's not the traditional Alabamas and Georgias. Brendan, there's just something fun about this matchup. I'll start with you. Trent, I haven't forgot you. I'm going to go to you next. Sorry I didn't get you in the last segment. Brendan, are you excited about this national championship game? I'll get some what's the spread on there? Anyone know the spread?
8.5.
8.5. Yeah. Tell me what you're thinking here. Oh, that's a big one.
I think it's great that we finally have two teams that aren't traditionally in it to be in the national championship. It's a nice change for once. The only question I have this game is not if Indiana is going to win, but how much are they going to win by? I don't think there's any doubt they win. Could Miami possibly cover? Right now, I'm saying no. I think Indiana wins this big. Miami's been a damn good team, but they haven't seen the Hoosiers yet, guys.
Oh, I'm bringing in Trent here because Trent always has the analytics, and I'm sure he does for when we're just doing one game this hour. Trent, what are the sharps say? What are we doing here? What's this? Where's the smart money going? Not the hard money.
So this game opened at 7.5, and the smart money went on Indiana early. They were taking a little over 65% of the money, so jumped up to 8.5, and Indiana's still getting bet over 65%, and it's even up to 76% of the time on the money. So there's the public and the sharps are loving Indiana in this spot, and I don't blame them because Miami just gave up 27 points to Ole Miss, who has a very talented offense, but Indiana's offense is just as talented in different ways. Obviously, they run the ball well. but this Miami defense has to figure out a way to stop this Indiana offense, and I don't really see it happening. And also Miami has to score points on this Indiana defense, which Indiana started the game against Oregon with 2 interception returns. Carson Beck he's a good quarterback, probably a great college quarterback. He cannot make mistakes in this game if Miami wants to have a chance. And he has to even go even further. He has to make plays. Like, he has to make multiple plays to keep Miami in this game. I would say that Indiana is a great team, and good teams win and great teams cover. So I like Indiana to cover this game.
I mean, Chris, everybody talks about Fernando Mendoza, obviously Heisman winner, 41 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, but this defense only allows 11.2 points per game. Indiana's defense is pretty darn good as well. It feels like this is Indiana all day long, but Cristobal has a great defense in Miami. They have, recency bias. They are playing their best football right now, which matters. What do you think?
It's all that matters, right? Is they're not backing into this one. They are coming on. Nick Saban said, "Watch Miami at the beginning of the playoff rounds." Yeah, I would take Miami to cover just because it's the national championship game and it's 8.5. And I think Miami's underestimated. As good as Indiana is, my heart would be with Indiana to cover and blow this thing out. But Miami's coming on strong, and they're playing really good football right now. This is not the old Miami. This is a quality group on both sides of the ball, and I like the way they're playing ball right now. And I think they're gonna punch back. They're gonna get punched in the mouth early, but they're gonna punch back. I like them to cover, but Indiana to win.
Coach Vince, this seems like a storyline for Indiana. Like, it should have a happy ending. You got the Heisman. Signetti in only 2 years was able to turn a basketball school into a football program. But Miami, man, there's just something about them that I don't want to write them off quite yet. What do you think?
One common opponent, Ohio State, with both teams. Big Ten title game. And John, I think you'll agree with me on this one. Ohio State should have won that game. Correct?
Yes.
And
24 to 10. They should have beat him
Ohio
24 to
State
10
2 weeks ago. So the common opponent is Ohio State. With that line being 8.5, and I know common opponent sometimes doesn't tell the whole story, but if you just look at that opponent into itself, Miami handled Ohio State much better than Indiana did. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And factor in, it is on Miami's home field.
It is.
Okay.
It is.
Now, I'm sure Indiana will travel well. Okay. I'm sure they will travel well. And I know that Miami has fair-weathered fans, but guess what? It's fair weather on Monday night. The U will be in force on Monday night, and this game is going to be close. I really feel. I think it's going to be a field goal game. I really do.
Chris's boy, Michael Irvin, running down the sidelines, going nuts. It's just been fun to watch him. He's just got this youthful exuberance. I don't know where it all comes from, but I love it, John. It's going to be a good national title game. And this is like kind of what college sports are right now. This is kind of symptomatic of what it is. You have Beck, who's been playing since I was in high school, and you have Indiana that turned around a program in 2 years. This isn't like your old college football teams. These are just they've been recreated, forged out of the flames in 1 or 2 years, and already can go to the national title game.
So, great analysis by everyone. Indiana has never played a team that matches them on both sides of the ball in the trenches. They've won these games by bullying their opponents on the offensive and defensive front. That's how they dominate these games. You're not going to be able to do that here. Miami's defensive front might be the best or second best in college football. Most of these guys could start on half the teams in the NFL. Offensive line, same thing. Remember, Mario built this team inside out. So he's put all of his money into those two lines, into the trenches. So Indiana has won these games by just bullying other teams and being able to control the line of scrimmage. I don't think they're going to do that here. I'm with Coach Vince. I'm a contrarian in this game. I love Indiana. I love the story. They look unbeatable. That's all true. But if you look at the common opponent, Ohio State should have won that game 24-10. Actually, it wasn't close. That's their common opponent. When you control the line of scrimmage, or your whole game is based on their quarterback, Mendoza, having time, he never gets pressured. He's got more touchdowns and incompletions. We all know the story. But he sits back there. Nobody touches him. It's going to be a little bit of a different story here. 8.5 is a lot. This is a very close game. I'm with Vince. I think in the fourth quarter, this game is going to be a one-score game. Maybe Indiana covers, with a touchdown at the end. But I think in the middle of the fourth quarter, it's going to be a one-score game. I wouldn't be shocked if Miami upset them. The other thing is Carson Beck is tremendously underrated. Nobody talks about him, but the guy wins games, and he made the decision to leave Georgia. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I like this Miami team. I love them at home. When you can control the line of scrimmage and Indiana has to change the game plan, we're going to see what happens. I like the Hurricanes here, plus 8.5.
Yeah, I think a lot of the elements to this game are going to come down to what the same NFL games we'll be talking about in the second hour. Yeah, turnovers, red zone efficiency, seeing if Mendoza can handle the pressure again. I mean, at some point, this kid has to crack it. Maybe at some point. I mean, this is the biggest stage of his career. It'll be interesting to see. I think Indiana is going to control the tempo. I think I'm going to go with them here. Trent, is there any juice on the over/under? Like on these games, sometimes 47.5? I just don't know if it's going to hit there. Or could we have an explosive game? What are the numbers saying with that?
Yeah,
put you on the spot.
You're fine. The over is actually getting bet a decent amount, 77% of the bets on the over, but only 64% of them. Only 64% of the money is on the over. So looks like bigger bets being placed on the under, which I would tend to agree with. I think this has the makings of more of a defensive battle rather than, two high-powered offenses going at it. So I would take the under if I was betting the total. So.
Yeah, and I mean, interesting too. Like, obviously, Fernando Mendoza is going to be somebody that college scouts are looking at, but Carson Beck also. I mean, Coach Vince, Carson. We joked about him being around. He was going to be a potential first round pick. Had a bad year, decided to stay. Had another semi good year, and then decided to transfer. Yeah, does Beck have a chance in the NFL?
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. I think Beck was kind of forced out of Georgia, was he not?
Yeah.
I don't think he just said, "Okay, I'm entering the portal." I think Kirby Smart basically said, "We want to go in a different direction." So there's another chip to be a higher chip on his shoulder, so to speak. So he's got a lot to prove. Obviously, he's an older guy, but we've seen older quarterbacks. I'm trying to think. I guess Mason Rudolph was actually a guy that I think from Oklahoma State, right? That came in at age 26 or 27, and that was a serviceable NFL quarterback. Is Carson Beck going to be, a starting quarterback in the NFL? I don't know about that. I think he could have a nice little career as an NFL backup quarterback.
He could. What was it, Chris Wanke for Florida State that came out when he was 20?
There you go. There's another one. Yep.
Something like that. All right. Well, you're listening to the Godzilla Wins Saturday Pick Show. We did one pick. Sounds like a lot of people are on Indiana. We're going to get to the second hour of our show. We're going to go over all the NFL playoff games and also talk a little bit about a college point shaving scandal. Stay here. We'll be back right after this break.
West Virginia Sports Nation gives you a top-of-the-mountain view of the Mountaineers sports landscape. See what's happening in all the sports, far beyond football, basketball, and baseball. Gymnastics, track and field, rowing, swimming and diving, golf, volleyball, tennis. More sports, more stories. If the Mountaineers play the game, WVSportsNation.com has it covered. Up-to-date and insightful articles written by Mountaineers for Mountaineers Nation. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com. WVSportsNation.com.
Right now, I'll hit you up afterwards.
The best part about waking up in the morning is a great cup of coffee, and I get this every day with my 1775 coffee. It's rich, it's bold, best tasting coffee I've ever had. Single origin, farmed in Bolivia, 7,000 feet. It's always fresh, roasted daily. This is the best coffee you're ever going to get. Go to 1775coffee.com. 1775coffee.com, promo code Godzilla, 10% off. It's going to make your day every day.
You woke up with a sore throat and a low-grade fever. You know you are getting sick, so here's your choices. You can get sicker and miss work, try to see a doctor this week, or sit hours in a crowded waiting room at urgent care.
I have a smarter option for you. Open your medical emergency kit. Match your symptoms to doctor-recommended prescription in your booklet and take the right meds now and get well faster.
This is not a first aid kit. It's like having an urgent care in your home. It includes doctor-prescribed medications to treat over 39 medical issues like respiratory infections, strep throat, pneumonia, UTIs, and more.
No waiting to see the doctor and no standing in line at the pharmacy. It's right here.
Every home should have at least one medical emergency kit, and here's how to order.
Order online fast and save $45. Your kit with prescriptions to treat common and life-saving illnesses is rushed to your door. Visit twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla.
John Fredericks, your Godzilla of truth, fiercely independent.
No ties to Wall Street. I promote Main Street.
The John Fredericks Media Network, privately owned and operated, on top of the issues on air and online.
Trucking the truth every day for 14 years.
The John Fredericks Show drives your morning, weekdays 6 to 10 a.m. Eastern. The only independent White House correspondent with live reports from the White House. Hit JohnFredericksRadio.com. Watch at JFMN.tv. John Fredericks, your Godzilla of truth.
Who's going to stop me now?
Nobody.
Did you know that somebody could literally steal your house? Yeah, that is a thing that happens. It is when a criminal forges your signature on one document, uses one fake notary stamp, and then spends about $30, $40 with the county recorder. They then take out loans using your home equity as collateral. And the worst part of it is, you don't even know it's happening until you start getting collections and foreclosure notices. Most people don't check on their home title because why would you feel like you needed to? But this right here is why you need to use Home Title Lock. They have $1 million triple lock protection that helps keep your home and equity safe. It includes 24/7 monitoring with protection immediately, urgent alerts in case there's any changes in your title. Then if fraud does happen, they have a US-based restoration team that will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title.
Find out if you're already a victim. Go to HomeTitleLock.com now.
John Fredericks, he's America's Godzilla of truth. All week long, he's world-renowned for his proficient proclivity to prophesy the people's political picks with pinpoint precision.
Yeah, baby.
Then, on the weekends, he gets with the guys that are pretty wise, and Godzilla wins. Godzilla Wins, the sports picking show for winning dough. Money lines, parlays, over-under, the best plays. You choose the game, Godzilla picks the winners. Get expert analysis, exclusive insights, and have a little fun. When the game is on your mind and money's on the line, Godzilla Wins is your guide to picking winners. Godzilla Wins, on the screens of your TV and favorite devices, commanding radio airwaves far and wide. Before you make that play, hear what the Godzilla crew has to say. Presented by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com, it's time for Godzilla Wins, all across the John Fredericks Media Network. Oh yeah.
For entertainment purposes only.
Welcome back to the Godzilla Wins Show. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, joined by Vince Mayoko, Trent Connor, Chris Saxman, Brendan Statler, and John Fredericks. We've got a jam-packed hour coming up for you. We're going to be breaking down all the NFL football games: Bills, Broncos, 49ers, Seahawks, Texans, Patriots, Rams, and Bears. We did break down the national title game. Looks like a lot of people are on Indiana. It's going to be a great game. Miami, that's going to be Monday night, but a jam-packed football weekend. We're going to bring it to you. But first, of course, a couple days ago, you were flying high, coaching changes, all this stuff, kind of the normal. But then all of a sudden, another college point shaving scheme. And I know we did this. We've been doing this show for a while. In November, there was one back then was pretty unbelievable. It included some NBA players and some poker, the whole thing. But now in Philadelphia, the Eastern District of Pennsylvania unsealed an indictment charging 26 people in an alleged bribery point shaving scheme. Involves NCAA men's basketball plus the Chinese Basketball Association. This one is big. I mean, we're starting to see a trend here They're going to kind of like these mid-level schools, finding players that aren't getting the nil money other players are getting, kind of using that, saying, hey, why are they getting money? You're not getting money. I can give you money if you shave off here a little bit here. Want to remind you that we are brought to you by WestVirginiaSportsNation.com. I bring that up because I have a column that I wrote about this and how it affects recruiting. If you guys want to go there, we're also brought to you by WV The Torch. But I want to bring everybody in here. Coach Vince, I'll start with you here. I mean, this a couple years ago, it seemed pretty cool. Let's legalize marijuana. Let's legalize gambling. What could go wrong? And you're starting to see in both instances that it's not always better to do these things. And the gambling in particular, when all these gambling websites, every kid can access on their phone. If you live near a casino, you can actually do blackjack and stuff. It's just getting out of control. But now, and that's a whole other subject, but now it's getting to the point where we thought we were over this. We had gambling scandals in the 70s, 60s, 50s, but they said, hey, once the salaries get so high, then there's no real reason for this. But this nil and college world just brings it back into play, kind of the old school way that the mafia ran in the 70s, and it's scary. Coach Vince, what are your thoughts? Again, another gambling scandal.
As a longtime baseball coach, obviously at a lower level, junior college and stuff, but still, the ultimate goal of a coach is to get the most out of their players and to have your players play as hard as they possibly can, whether that be football, baseball, women's golf, whatever the sport. And to think that you would have a player or two on your team deliberately trying to throw a game or deliberately trying to keep the score from a certain level, whatever the point betting line might be. That's a coach's worst nightmare. I mean, to have the trust, you want to have the trust of your players, knowing that they're giving it their all and there's no outside influences. And then you see this list of schools. I think there were 37 different schools or something like that, but primarily HBCU universities, and not even mid-major schools, low D1 programs, Fordham, Abilene Christian, Buffalo, Kent State, all these schools that are involved with this. So that tells you a lot, Mitch, right there is, probably more likely to happen at those schools because those kids aren't getting the NIL money that they are in the Big Ten and the ACC and the SEC. Does it make it right? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And as a coach, now you're thinking are all coaches now thinking this at that level? Gosh, do I have a player or a couple players on my roster that are deliberately throwing the game to benefit their bank account? Boy, count me out on that one.
Well, and Chris, and it seems to me that there is almost no way you're not going to get caught. Sorry for the double negative there, but with the analytics and the AI and your betting, irregular bets on HBCU programs, you're going to be caught. They know they're going to get caught. The guys up at the top don't care about these kids in any way. They're basically, they're giving them sureties out. They'll never figure it out. They're going to find out. These kids, there was no chance of them not getting caught. When you're betting on the Bisons of, a $400,000 bet on a game that may get $1,000 total in a normal game, Chris. I mean, they're going to find them. It just seems stupid, especially with the way we can track all these bets.
They'll get better at cheating. And it will get worse before it gets better as far as the sullying the game, because a lot of this will go to cash. It will go to the bookies. You'll still see these. I mean, when you're talking about Abilene Christian and Buffalo, when you see wild swings all of a sudden in the spreads, something's going on, right? This is how syndicates move. These whales move around the country. They get patsies out there to take the bets, and you'll get a guy putting 10 dimes on a game. The line will move here and there, and they'll place these bets all over the place. So it won't be online, but you'll see with the activity in those games, and then the regulatory agencies will start looking at them and go in there and look at their cell phones and texts and these kind of things. And eventually that'll be off screen. That'll go to Signal and go to WhatsApp and these other apps that are encrypted, or they'll just go straight to phone calls, or they'll just go, word of mouth, and they'll take it all offline. It will get worse It will get worse. Trust me. We've had what, 2 gambling scandals in the last 6 months blow up like this. Trust me, it's a lot worse than people think it is. It's a terrible thing for our amateur sports that are now professional betting, and this is the downside of gambling, folks. And we're going to experience it for a long time.
Yeah, I never thought we'd be here, Trent. I never thought in this modern day that we would have these. I mean, like I said, like I was telling Coach Vince, these old school, it sounds like 70s things. But like I said, you're a man of the analytics. You look at that, the betting lines and the betting odds. Like I said, when these weird games go up like that, it's a red flag instantly, right?
Yeah, there's been a lot of movement amongst the smaller games in college basketball this season. I've seen plenty of people been talking about it on social media, how a team will open minus 3.5 point favorites and then they're suddenly 8.5 point underdogs. It doesn't make sense. It's because it is very manipulated, and the whales are getting the numbers they want, and then they're arbitraging and getting
the hedging
bets
elsewhere.
They're hedging
100%.
And they're guaranteeing themselves money. And it's not surprising that there have been these issues with gambling. I mean, it's been happening for forever. People fix fights, people fix soccer matches. They
fix little league games.
Right. Any way they can cheat,
Literally.
they will. The UFC had one. I think 1 or 2 years ago. A trainer was fixing fights and placing bets for his fighters, and they were, it all comes down to money. And you'd think that guys in the NBA who are getting paid a bunch of money don't fix games, but that still happens. I mean, it kind of makes more sense with UFC fighters, college basketball players who aren't getting paid much, that they would do this for the money. But, in the big leagues, it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't. But we were talking about, Brendan and I, we were talking about it off the camera before we came on. How ethically these kids would do this. We were talking with Vince about how you want to trust your players. But like I said, when I was in college, if I got like $500, I thought I was in heaven for a month. I was eating like a king. You're offered $10,000 to $40,000. I get it. You get how it can happen, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I certainly understand the thought process of why they would do it, but I mean, these kids may be young adults, but at the end of the day, they're still adults. They knew what they were doing was wrong. They went along with it anyway. And the thing that just baffles me every time we talk about a story like this is what is their thought process when they're placing this bet? You mentioned it earlier, Mitch. I think one of the bets in particular was over $400,000.
Yeah.
Normal people do not bet that. That's exactly how the Cleveland Indians pitcher got caught. It was a ridiculous bet on if he would throw a ball. You're going to get caught when you're betting $400,000, especially at any level, but especially if you're just using two teams as an example, when you're betting on a game against Robert Morris versus Kent State. I mean, hardly anybody watches those games anyway. That's going to raise some eyebrows. But yeah, they targeted these young kids that aren't making a lot of money because they're at smaller schools. They preyed on them, but at the same time, they should have known better. They knew what they were doing was wrong and illegal, and there needs to be stiff penalties for it.
My dad's alma mater, Robert Morris. They're in this too. They're in the indictment.
So is Duquesne, I hear.
They're in the Pittsburgh trenches, getting the low schools in Pittsburgh. John, from a recruiting standpoint, in my column, I wanted to tie it in a little bit. Obviously, it's West Virginia University, but we've been in that weird, unique, not even unique anymore. We've had to rebuild basketball programs, rebuild football programs, kind of from scratch. So you're in this portal, getting all these transfer players, and the fact that on top of everything, academics, how good they are athletically, there's a supreme layer about being ethical and making sure you're getting a kid that can't be bought. I mean, it's just, I can't even imagine being a recruiter right now. John, what's your thoughts on this story?
Well, the way the kids are justifying it, which is kind of ridiculous, is basically this. I didn't get the NIL money this other guy got. I didn't get the school I wanted. I got screwed. I should have gotten $100,000. I'm only getting $20,000. Therefore, I'm entitled. That's what this NIL thing has done. And when they first launched NIL, nobody knew what anybody else was making, right? In the first year of it, now it's all public record. So everybody knows what everybody else is getting. And so jealousy comes into play and things of that nature. And so you're like, hey, you know what? I should have gotten 100. I'm getting 10. So I'm going to make it up. And somebody comes to me. But this is beyond, remember the college coach in Alabama that got fired? He had a guy that was a friend of his, and he said his pitcher wasn't starting. And so the guy placed a couple parlay bets and things of that nature. This is now way beyond that. This is now an enterprise. I mean, you've got what? The CCP involved in this, Saxman, I read? You got the Chinese Communist Party making money off it? I mean, it's corrupt, because anything that the Chi-Coms can do to corrupt our kids, they're all in. So, I mean, you got all these people involved in this, and it's just disgusting. And it all goes back to people not happy with whatever NIL deal they got, not happy with the eligibility rules, whatever it is. And so now you just make money on the side. And look, if you're one of these kids and you're getting a $40,000 payout and your NIL is 10 and you're not going to get drafted, and you got $40,000 you didn't have, so what? I mean, this is the way they're looking at it. It's corrupt upside down. It's corrupting our kids. And I don't know what the answer is. Vince, I don't know what the answer is when you're going to kids. I mean, it's no different before NIL when you had the blue chip recruiters and they were getting money under the table. I mean, it's no different. They're entitled now. And so it's just a scourge on America. You're not going to put the genie back in the bottle. I mean, you've got, what is it? I just read yesterday, 8 states now. Maine just passed it. You've got 8 states that are now allowing casino gaming, like iPhone gambling.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
You just go on your iPhone and you're doing blackjack while you're waiting in the parking lot or at Starbucks. This is insanity.
I wouldn't be married.
It's nuts. But you got 8 states that have made this legal because they're all after a money grab. This is the result. This is what you're going to get, and it's a sad state of affairs. It's sad.
And it brings up, and ever since.
Hey, John, what do you think of this? Do you think there should be betting lines on these mid-major schools? I mean,
that's
I don't know who controls it, but
zero.
No, I think it should just be your upper echelon.
They should have Power 4 only. That's it. Basketball, doesn't matter what it is. It's Power 4 only. And that's a little bit different because if you're playing in a Power 4 conference, you're playing basketball, football, you're getting money. There's no question about it. But I mean, to be betting $400,000 on a Abilene Christian game in Texas, like who the hell does this?
Yeah, and it's crazy. And ever since I started working for the West Virginia site, we did a story on the nil money and it's crazy. I know people think they get all this money, but they have websites where they're basically kind of like pimp themselves out. Like, hey, if you want me for an appearance, I'll come for $50. They're not making it. They're just struggling, trying to make a little bit of money here and there. And these guys can go to these sites and see the ones that don't get as much attention. They know which ones are looking for money too. You can really go on the sites and to the nil sites and pinpoint these kids. I just, for college coaches today, Coach Vince, all you guys out there, God bless you. It's got to be so tough. All right, we're going to get to some picks, but before we get to the NFL picks, John, I don't like these tough stories. I want to take a break from all these tough stories. I want to relax. Rosie's would be a perfect spot to get away from all the Minnesota stuff, all these coach shaving schemes. Tell them about Rosie.
I mean, I believe in regulated gambling, regulated by the state, where you know what the payout is. If you don't follow the rules, they pull your license, and the company loses hundreds of billions of dollars. Right? So it's as simple as that. And think about going to Rosie's as you know that you're going to get the biggest jackpots, the highest payouts if you go and gamble there because it's regulated by the state of Virginia Gaming, the Commonwealth of Virginia Gaming Commission, and they can't fudge anything. And that's really why I prefer this kind of stuff. But if you really want to have some fun gambling, I just stopped the other day. The first time I've stopped there, I went to the Rosie's in Dumfries off 95 in Northern Virginia. Gorgeous place, but they've got them all over the place. Rosie's is anywhere you want to go, it's there. They've got the athletic book upstairs. They got OTB. They're all over the state. They're in New Kent, Richmond, right by our studio, Dumfries in Northern Virginia, Vinton by Roanoke, Collinswood there by Danville, Emporia, Hampton, they're all there. You have so much fun going to Rosie's. And the thing is, you're going to get the biggest jackpots and the highest payouts. So if you like gambling, if you want to have fun and you want great food and a great atmosphere in a different type of casino where they're not pumping the oxygen and there's no windows, all that, it's people are smoking at the machine there. None of that, right? It's a very different experience. You're going to really enjoy it. Bring your date there. It's a great date night. Just go to rosiesgaming.com, rosiesgaming.com. Everything is there. rosiesgaming.com. And Colonial Downs, more dates than ever. That's opening up over the summer. I'm going to get my suite there. Saxman's coming. Don't want to miss that. rosiesgaming.com.
You and Saxman, it's like Thelma and Louise, baby, just flying around the country together. I love it.
Where are we going now?
I love where you guys go. I want to go. I'm right down the road. I don't know why I don't ever see you guys. I'm like 20 minutes away. We're gonna do this. So listen to Godzilla.
You just gotta get in the car and go, dude. I mean, every time I invite you, you got 8 things going on with your daughters. I get it.
That's true.
But I mean, you just got to take your wife out on a date. Get a babysitter.
That's true. I'm gonna do it.
Date night, baby.
Date night. Godzilla wins Saturday pick show is what you're listening to. We're gonna do some picks. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers. John Fredericks, Vince Mayoko, Chris Saxman, Trent Connor, and Brendan Statler here. And greatest football weekend. Well, maybe last weekend was, but I'd like to do hyperbole. We'll do it this way. This is the greatest football weekend. We have the semifinals of the NFL playoffs, and the first game is the Bills at the Broncos. Woo! Heavyweights going at it. The Bills are favored by 1.5 in Denver, which was surprising to me. Denver's won 13 out of 14 games. Bills come in 12-5. They score about 28 points per game. They allow about 22 a game. Denver's calling card, league best 68 sacks. Coach Vince, I will start with you. Lots of storylines here, right? I mean, Buffalo has to do it, right? Everyone's gone. There's no Lamar. There's no Mahomes. But there is Denver, and they are the number 1 seed. It's going to be a very tough task for Josh Allen and the boys up there. What are you thinking?
It is, but does anybody here doubt Josh Allen?
No.
He's at a whole nother level. He
doesn't like cold weather.
And he's really, I mean, he does not have a great supporting cast. I think he has, 3 active wide receivers on the roster right now that are somewhat healthy. Obviously, Denver has a very good defense, arguably the best defense in the league. Going to Denver, obviously a tough task. And also Buffalo and both the 49ers having one less day this week to recover. They both played last Sunday, and they both turned around. And don't get me started on that with the NFL. They should have had a full week. They should be playing on Sunday. But with that said, I love Josh Allen. Okay, obviously no Mahomes, no Burrow, no Lamar. Could this be the year that Josh Allen leads the Bills to the Super Bowl? I'm saying yes.
Oh, there we go.
Let's go.
And to get there, you got to beat Denver, right?
Let's go.
You got to beat Denver. So there you go. There's where I'm putting my money on.
Chris, I'll give your Thelma to his Louise. Chris, do you trust Bo Nix? Do you trust Bo Nix in the tight playoff fourth quarter? You know, I think that's what it comes down to. Denver has the better team. I think we can all agree. But the quarterback, they don't have the better quarterback. Can you trust Bo Nix? What do you think?
But you just said Denver has the better team.
Better team.
They're playing in Denver, and Denver's favored by 1.5.
Denver's underdog.
Denver's the underdog.
No, they're favored.
Are they favored? Oh, I had it wrong.
Yeah, they're favored.
Sorry. I should research that.
Objectively, you pull a guy off the street and say, okay, you got the better team playing at home, and they're only 1.5 favorite at home. It means the team coming in is pretty good. But the better team at home. You got to go with the better team at home. I mean, you know, I like Josh Allen and the Bills. You know, I'd love to see the storyline. The Bills finally get over the hump. They finally win a Super Bowl. But, you know, if you, what would you tell your kids? Hey, kids, go bet on the underdog traveling against the better team. I just don't think that's a smart bet. I would take Denver here.
Trent, Josh Allen might be the best player in the NFL. A lot of people do think that. Could he be the difference maker? Come on, the Bills are 0-4 in the Super Bowl. They need this run, right? If he gets past this, right? It's
all heart, no head, all heart.
What do you think?
Yeah,
that's why I went to Trent. We're going with head on this one.
This is the Broncos' nightmare out of the teams they could have played. This was the team they did not want to see, but that's the way it panned out. So the game opened as a pick 'em. Sharps bet Denver down to a 1.5 point favorite. It looks like the public money is coming in on Buffalo, as you might expect. Josh Allen gets a lot of love, as he should. He's a little banged up, so I've read. He's dealing with a few ailments to his hand, his leg. Like Vince said, he doesn't have many receivers, but he does have his 4 top receivers on the season. Shakir, Kincaid. I think Dawson Knox could play a big role in this game as a receiver, because I think you have to throw the ball against Denver. The way they stop the run, their rush defense is elite. James Cook may get bottled up a bit, so Josh Allen's going to have to make some plays with his legs, through the air to these receivers that aren't, game changers. But I think the key here is that the Broncos don't have a great rushing attack, and that's how you have to beat the Bills. The Bills allow the fewest passing yards per game because they get beat on the ground. And the Broncos don't have that running back that can beat the Bills on the ground. And I think I'm going to side with the public here and take the Bills plus 1.5. I think Josh Allen's just too good, and he makes too many big plays to not win this game.
Brandon, Trent went with his heart. It looks like he went with his heart here. He gave us all the analysis so you can make your pick yourself, because he gave you everything needed. But what are they going to do to stop this pass rush? Trent brings up a great point. Like, they bottle up the run. Josh Allen's legs obviously are going to have to take hold in his injury. Yeah, this is just a good game. Brandon, where are you going to go?
The answer is they're going to do absolutely nothing. I don't think I need to add any more than what Trent said. I think he wrapped it up perfectly and said everything that needed to be stated. I am all in on the Buffalo Bills this game. I'm not sold on Denver. I don't trust Bo Nix. I don't trust the rest of his team, despite the fact they're the number 1 seed. I still don't trust them. They've had the bye week. There's going to be some rust to show, I think. But this is Buffalo's year. It's time to go get it.
John, it feels like the only people rooting for the Denver Broncos are in Colorado today, because it's a very unlikable team when you really look at it. Sean Payton is, Bo Nix. No one really, and everybody's team, once they lose, I feel like I'm doing it too, because I have family in upstate New York. My daughter's rooting for the Bills. It feels like everybody's rooting for the Bills, which would lead me to take the Broncos, I think. But John, what do you think?
Well, just for the record, last week, including the 2 semifinal games in college football, I went 6-2 v spread. So
I got crushed.
Yeah, so I went 6-2. So I'm lost the Pittsburgh game and the San Diego game. So all the others I won, and of course I got the Hurricanes on Monday night. I know I'm going to win that bet. So I love Buffalo here. And I love them for one reason. I don't care what receivers are playing. I don't care what's going on. I don't care if his hand's banged up. You got one player on the field that I knew last week, when the push came to shove, Josh Allen would take the whole team on his back and win the game, and he did that. I mean, that was one of the most gritty fourth quarters of an NFL quarterback I've ever seen. He will find a way. This Buffalo team, it's now or never. Their window is closing. I thought McDermott, this is his shot now. And look, I like Denver. I like their defense, but it comes down to star players. If at the end of the game, I'm going to coin what Coach Vince said many, many weeks ago. I got 2 words, right? I'm going to sum this up in 2 words or 4 words, right? Bo Nix versus the Buffalo quarterback, right? Pick one. And I don't think there's any doubt you're going to pick Josh Allen here. Somehow he's going to find a way to win this game. And the other thing is, here's the thing. If Buffalo is down 21-7, they can come back. If Denver's down 21-7, go play mini golf. That thing's over. They got no shot to come back. I love Buffalo in this game. I think they go in there, win it, and I think they're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I'm going to go with it as well. I think we're going to go with Buffalo. It scares me. We all went Buffalo. Did everybody go Buffalo? Oh, man, all across the board.
Chris.
No, Saxman went Denver.
Chris went Denver. That's right. All right. We have some sanity on this board here. Denver's had an amazing season. That number 1 seed is very tough to get. They earned it. But I do think Josh Allen just comes in there and it's just it's his time. And he goes on this run. And I'll be rooting for it. Would love to see that happen. Bo Nix, she'll have another shot someday. Maybe. All right, let's move on to the next game, one near and dear to Coach Vince. 49ers at Seahawks. 49ers getting no love on this point spread. They are underdogs by 7 points. Money line Seattle minus 338, San Francisco plus 270. Seahawks come in 14-3. 49ers 12-5. 49ers have been injured all year, and they just keep coming. George Kittle lost to an ACL tear, or Achilles tear last week. Sam Darnold questionable. Looks like he will be playing, so the spread hasn't moved much. I'll save Coach. I'll let you go a little bit later. Chris, what are you thinking on here? This is a big-time matchup. The spread seems a little bigger than I would have thought.
It's a little bigger than I would have thought as well. I think Kittle really hurts the Niners offense. Seattle's a better team at home, got a 7-point spread. I don't think the question is whether Seattle wins. The question is, does San Francisco cover? And is it a backdoor cover, or is it more legitimate going down the stretch and Seattle scores late? I just got to think that Seattle covers this one. I just don't. The juice is just not there for San Francisco. I would take Seattle to cover that at home.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like in my brief research.
Not a fan of the 7. If it was 6.5, I'd love it a little bit more, but I still like the 7.
and as you would imagine, I'm thinking, Trent, you can confirm this. I would imagine the public money is going on San Francisco with +7. I mean, obviously, people are looking at that spread going, that's a little too big for the playoffs. What are you thinking here? I mean, that George Kittle, that's huge. Christian McCaffrey is the entire offensive game plan. So, what are you thinking here, Trent?
Yeah, the line opened 7.5, and the Sharps took advantage of that number. It looks like this is from 3 days ago that 75% of the bets, 57% of the money was on San Fran plus 7.5. Now it's down to 7, and it looks like Seattle's actually getting some bigger bets. They have 34% of the bets, but 47% of the money, which
that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, I tend to agree with that. I would actually pay up and take 6.5. Like Chris said, I don't like laying 7. This game is it comes down to one, Brock Purdy's arm, which I don't trust as much as someone like Josh Allen. Seattle's defense is elite, but the way you beat them is through the air, and I don't think Purdy can do it, especially with his banged up receivers. So I like Seattle to cover this game.
Oh, Brendan, where are you going with this one?
Coach Vince, your 49ers never get any respect, do they? It seems like every week they are underdogs, but yet they keep winning. I am all in on the 49ers to win this game. Hey, they're going to the Super Bowl. It's going to be a Buffalo and San Francisco Super Bowl, baby.
Oh, I like that. Coach Vince, it's a division dog. Coach, there's familiarity. They just played, lost the chance for the number 1 seed. Shanahan, chip on his shoulder. This has the makings of something fun. Vince, where are you going?
It does. And you know what? Thank you, Brendan, for the love. You sound like Chris Berman in the late 80s, early 90s. Where
oh, God, I hope my voice don't sound that
Buffalo
bad.
Bill Super Bowl.
So, I love Boomer, baby.
But hey, some things to take from their previous meeting 2 weeks ago. When, let's be honest, I'll be honest. I mean, the Seahawks manhandled the 49ers, even though the score wasn't that lopsided. But keep in mind, the 49ers did not have Trent Williams that game. Okay, who protects Brock Purdy's blind side, which is also an area of the line of scrimmage where Christian McCaffrey likes to do damage. And they did not have a deep threat at wide receiver. Today, they've got Ricky Pearsall, who is that deep threat. So that changes the dynamics of things as well, too, from an offensive standpoint. Last week, 2 weeks ago, D. Winters got hurt. He was unavailable last week. By all indications, D. Winters, middle linebacker, will be back in action tonight. Yeah, losing Kittle is huge. And maybe not just his receiving skills, but more importantly, his
best
blocking
blocker
skills. Yeah, he's the best blocking tight end in the game.
For sure.
But they have a serviceable backup, Jake Tonjes, who has scored some touchdowns this year in the red zone. And it's going to be an interesting game, no question about it. The line is awfully high, 7 points. I'm going to side with Brendan on this one. Not only do the Niners cover, they are playing the Los Angeles Rams next week at SoFi Stadium. And that will be like a home game for the 49ers in LA.
Oh, I like it. It's money line plus 270 is where he's going. I like that. You're going to be rich. You're up 7-0 already. The game doesn't start for like 8 hours. John, what is going to be the script for San Francisco?
I love fans of teams handicapping a game like this because this guy was out, he's back, that receiver was hurt.
Great analysis.
This guy was banged up, this guy's the blind side, they're coming back. Seattle went to Santa Clara and blew your ass off the field. You were never in the game. I don't care what the score was. And I took San Francisco, whatever the spread was, 1.5, 2.5, never in the game. This was, they are going to get crushed. 7 points, 8 points, 9 points. I don't really give a rat's tail what it is. As soon as this thing's over, I'm going to bet so it doesn't go over 7, and I'm betting Seattle. They went to Santa Clara. They beat the crap out of them. These two teams weren't even on the same level. Now all of a sudden somebody comes back and that receiver's out. Now they don't have Kittle. Look, forget about it. Seattle's at home. I don't care if Sam Darnold's a cornerback. I don't care who their backup. I don't care if they got him off the practice squad. San Francisco got crushed at home. What changes in 2 weeks? What changes? Nothing. Blowout. Seahawks, big.
No, what changes is Shanahan's facing a team 3 times in one season.
2 tickets.
You got to get the players. You guys are overthinking some post. Shanahan's going to
clip this video for when San Francisco wins.
John Fredericks.
I'm going to be cashing tickets, and you're going to be tearing them up.
Nothing better than a pissed off John who lost a bet 2 weeks ago, and then the same
He's just salty about that bet. He's still pouting about that bet.
We got blown out. The game was over in the middle of the second quarter.
I can't wait to go to bed at halftime.
And you're
it's going to be done.
And you know it's for sure. Sam Darnold is the best big game quarterback we've ever. Sam Darnold.
It doesn't matter who the quarterback is.
It does.
It doesn't matter.
Coach, I'm with you. Niners win this. I'm with you.
49ers.
Put them out of their misery.
I'm with you.
49ers. We're going to root for someone's home team because I'm telling you that stadium behind Trent I'm not rooting for. I can tell you that 100%. I'm going with San Francisco.
What stadium is that?
I'm up 7. What? Move your head. Move your head, Trent.
That's Gillette.
Gillette.
Oh, screw the Patriots,
too. The best a man can get. The best a man can get.
Toxic masculinity. Toxic masculinity.
I've got the best backdrop here.
Commercials. Go ahead.
He's got Vrabel.
Who said toxic masculinity? Who said
Gillette? That? Gillette. When they ran those commercials on toxic masculinity, I dropped Gillette like a heart disease.
Me too.
That's when I just started growing facial hair.
I went to. You need to get John. You need to get that. What is it? Henry's or Hank's?
No, they're libtards. I already talked.
They're not good either. I've had those.
We don't advertise on conservative talk radio. They're a bunch of libtards.
Well, yeah.
Who's that? Henry's? Hank's? What's it? Hank's Shaving? What are they called?
You have to be a supplement company to get on.
Tell Mike Lindell to start making his own razors.
Oh, dude.
My razors.
My Pillow razors.
There we go.
Hey, that's a great idea, dude.
Yeah,
I know, right?
Contradicting. It's weird. I like it.
And he could send me the royalty checks if he.
See, for those of us that shave, though, and I got a heavy beard. I've been battling since I'm 18. The Fusion, I can't shave with anything else now. They're expensive, but that Fusion double blade, whatever it is, I was in a hotel the other day and I forgot my razor and I had to go downstairs to get the big thing. And I'm like, what is this? I can't even shave with this. So it gets tough.
I have to shave my head. I bick my head. I have to use the Fusion as well. I'm the same way. All right, you're listening to Godzilla Wins, Saturday's pick show. We've got 2 of the NFL games in the bag. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, Coach Vince, John Fredericks, Chris Saxman, Trent Connor, and Brendan Statler, bringing you the best analysis and picks for these NFL games. We picked the national title game. I think every single person in Indiana, maybe one.
No, I picked the Canes plus 8.5.
Oh, that's true. That's true. That's true. I'm sorry.
And so did Vince.
Darn it, I'm wrong.
Is it 8.5 now?
8.5. Moving it around. All right, we're moving on to Texans. These damn Texans at the Patriots. Trent's team. The spread here is Patriots favored by 3. The total is 40.5. The Texans bring one of the premier defenses that we've ever seen in the NFL or in like the last 5 years. They are electric for sure. Coach Vince, I will let you start with this. This is going to be a great matchup. Patriots, we've talked about it. They have blown it up, rebuilt, and are now back on the top again of the NFC or AFC East. Do you think they win and go on another run? Patriots.
Very possible. I think a lot of people have been talking about how the Patriots haven't had a top tier schedule this year, but they were very impressive last week. Very impressive. And, but Texas defense, I think we've been talking about the Texas defense all year, how when they played the 49ers early in the year, to John's point, this maybe give more reason for John to bet more money on the Seahawks. But the Texans were another team that pretty well handled the 49ers high-powered offense at the time as well, too. But there's something about mid to late January games in Foxborough. And I think Drake May is the guy, man. I tell you, I was listening to an interview with Tom Brady the other day, and he had a lot of good things to say about Drake May. So with that said, if the GOAT says Drake May and the Patriots, I'm good with that.
Oh, man. Chris, where are you going to go with this? The Texans are without Nico Collins. He suffered that concussion against the Steelers. He is out. That takes a big element away from them, but the Texans aren't known for their offense, right? They're known for that defense. They're going to give Drake a lot of fits. What do you think?
Gotta love the Houston Texan defense. I'm battling my heart versus my head because I want Texans to go in there and punch the Patriots square in the mouth and run it down their throats. And I think they can do it. I was really impressed with the Texans last week or the Monday night against the Steelers. Short week. I think they got screwed on the short week. And NFL shouldn't do that. But I just love that defense. I love the handwork of the pass rush. They got great hand techniques and getting around the rush and through the rush. And I think they're going to put on a dominant performance in Foxborough and beat the Patriots. It will be close. It will be close, but I just think they have the edge here. And I think New England's still a somewhat overrated team.
Trent, who has the bigger advantage, Vrabel with his game management style or D'Amico Ryan's defense?
Yeah, I think after last week, Vrabel has the advantage. The Chargers, they admitted that they didn't know what coverages the Patriots are in, like 80% of the plays. I don't think the Texans' offense is going to fare much better especially without Nico Collins. And on the flip side of that, Christian Gonzalez was in concussion protocol, but he's been cleared to play. Now you got one of the best corners in the game guarding a rookie receiver and then another young receiver. I don't think they can move the ball at all against New England's defense, especially if they play like they did last week. So the New England really, I don't think they have to score many points in this game, which points will be hard to come by. The Chargers were our top defense in the league, second fewest yards, ninth fewest points. The Texans now the fewest yards in the league, and I think the second fewest points, or maybe the first. I think the Patriots prove the doubters wrong again. Drake May needs to limit his turnovers. He had a fumble lost and an interception last week. Obviously can't do that against this Texans defense. And in terms of the money, it's about 50-50. New England's getting 47% of the bets, 55% of the money, so they're getting a little bit bigger bets on the Patriots, and I like the Patriots to cover this game.
Yeah, Brendan, it feels like that, and it feels like if the Patriots, that is, can get Texas into a passing situation by winning first and second downs, it's going to be a long day for the Texans. How can they combat this? I mean, their defense travels well. They got to travel again on the road in the playoffs. Can they do it again?
the problem for the Texans is not on the defensive side of the ball. It's on the offensive side of the ball. I mean, what did they have against Pittsburgh? 3 turnovers. Now, luckily for them, Pittsburgh's offense wasn't able to convert on really any of them. But New England's New England's offense is much better. They will make the Texans pay if they do not protect the football. Their only chance of winning this game is to protect the football, but I don't think it's going to be enough. I think the Patriots win this, and I think they win it pretty easily.
Yeah, John, on paper, it looks New England got a couple good running backs. They've got the defense. And it was even like some NFL analysts, when they were doing the tape, said they couldn't tell what coverages that New England was in. Pretty good coaching by Vrabel. Can the Texans get the job done?
You know, my wife has a saying about me, many sayings, but I can only mention one on the air. She says, you know, you're stubborn, but you're not stupid. And I'm going to pick this game based on her analysis of her husband. I'm not stupid. I'm done betting against the Patriots in these games, right? I bet the Chargers last week, what they score, a field goal. Patriots are at home. Drake May, this guy's magical. Probably should be the MVP this season, without a doubt. I mean, he throws lasers. Their defense, as you said, their scheme. I mean, once again, you know, San Diego Chargers, whatever you want to call them, they get into a playoff game. Once again, they can't figure it out. Once again, their quarterback can't win a game. All the Patriots do is keep winning. And so I don't really like the team. I do think they're a little bit overrated, but they keep winning, and they're at home here. And I just don't see, if the Texans get behind, I don't see how they're going to come back and win this game. I don't trust Stroud. You know, he's got no experience either. So it's not like you got one quarterback with experience, the other's a rookie. Both of them have very limited, you know, one's a rookie, the other one, you know, has not really won anything big. So I'm going to stop being stubborn. I'm going with the Pats here, -3.
Yeah, I think, as long as Drake May, the only way the Texans score is like last week, turnovers. And so I think they just have to remain patient. Vrabel's got to instill that into Drake, saying, hey, don't force anything here. 3rd downs, you know, 4th downs are fine.
And remember, Pittsburgh got 3 turnovers, and I think they got 1 field goal out of it. I mean, they got 3 or 4 turnovers and basically couldn't do anything with it either. So I don't know how good that this Texans defense is suffocating, but we'll see what happens. But I just don't see them scoring anything. Yeah, I mean, that game, as bad as that game was last week, it was 7-6 going in the 4th quarter. 7-6.
Yeah, there was the strip sack. Yeah, so exactly. The Texans struggled against the Steelers team.
Those are 2 really good defenses. But I tell you, Houston lays hats. They hit hard. They tackle. That was an education in how to play defense, and I really like that defense. I hate to say it, but I really like it.
If Drake May turns the ball over, they have some trouble. I don't think he will. I think he's maturing, and he's not going to do that in this moment. Maybe be a little too conservative.
He's also got to stay in the game. He also has to stay in the game.
Yes, he does.
He's going to. Anybody know what's the weather forecast for tomorrow's game?
Oh, I don't know.
What's the weather forecast for tomorrow's game?
Probably
cold here. It can't be any better up there.
Yeah, it can't.
Freezing cloudy.
I imagine not.
I'm going cold as hell.
Yes, absolutely. Well, John, before we get to the last game, these kids are going to have to be well rested, right? They're going to play Sunday night. You know, for all the marbles. It'd be nice if they had a connection with Mike Lindell and MyPillow. Tell them how they can get that connection.
Okay, Ann told me she wants me to do the MyPillow promo today on the pet blanket, okay? They have this pet blanket. Right now, Sammy's got, we got 8 chairs in the house and a couch, whatever, how many chairs we got. He's got a blanket on every single chair. It's really ridiculous. It's ridiculous beyond the pale, right? So just blankets on everything. He goes from one chair to the next. So for Christmas, she gets him the MyPillow pet blanket, right? And she puts it in the middle of the couch, whatever, okay? The cat has not left that blanket since Christmas. He loves the blanket. So it's got 2 sides to it, but the blue side apparently is something that keeps the heat in. Anyway, he loves this blanket. Ann says go to mypillow.com if you have a pet, a cat, a dog. Get him the MyPillow pet blanket. They're going to love this blanket. And now, she said when she went to wash it the other day, he sat by the washing machine, just waiting for it to come out, right? So he loves his pet blanket. So check this out. Go to mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. Going to get all the deals there. They got the pillows. They got deals on that. If you don't have the MyPillow slippers, why deprive yourself of one of the biggest comforts in life? I got them on right here, right now, in my studio, because it's Saturday, baby. Here it is. Got my slipper, comfy as can be. Just go to mypillow.com, mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla. Going to get all the deals right there. mypillow.com, promo code Godzilla, and you are good to go. Get the pet blanket for your pet today.
Godzilla wins Saturday Pick Show. We've got one game left. I'm your host, Mitch Rogers, joined by Coach Vince Mayoko, Chris Saxman, Trent Connor, Brendan Sattler, and John Fredericks. The last game on the slate for the NFL are the Rams at the Chicago Bears. This Chicago Bears team has had one of the craziest storylines and turnarounds in the NFL this year. They won last week, and I'm starting to believe a little bit. This defense is terrible. There's no question about it. If the Bears don't get turnovers, they normally don't win. But what I'm loving is Caleb Johnson and his maturation. Ben Johnson has brought something out in him. That locker room speech that he gave, where he gave the game ball to Ben, and he said, "You changed my life," changed the way I think about Caleb Williams, that I do think that he's going to take those steps to be great. Coach Vince, is this his first step to greatness?
Yeah, I mean, but let's really look at it too. I mean, in the Bears' 2 wins over the last maybe 3 or 4 weeks, both have been against the Packers, and the Packers choked both games away. Let's call it the way it is. When you don't recover an onside kick, okay, and you're up by 8, right? And they score a touchdown, have to go for 2 to tie it, send it to overtime. And I'm sorry, 21-3 at halftime.
Yeah,
and all of a sudden, Jordan Love and the Packers are just running up and down the field in the first half. And then all of a sudden they're going to play clock control, grind it out. It's like, that's not who you are, Packers. But you still got to win, right? And that's what the Bears did. You hit the nail on the head. I mean, they can score with anybody. You know, they're kind of the opposite of the Houston Texans. They're going to give up a lot of points, and the Rams score a lot of points. Now, on the flip side of that, you look at the Rams game against the Panthers. The Panthers had a shot.
They did.
They had a legitimate shot of winning that game last week. But I think the Rams getting a win under the belt in the postseason, even though they're on the road and it's going to be tough conditions in Chicago, I like the Rams in this one.
Chris, it feels like since the loss to the Commanders via a Hail Mary last year that derailed the Bears' season, they have turned into the people that beat you at the end of games. They have turned into the cardiac kids. They have taken that game, and it's almost like Ben Johnson he's just a good coach. Takes that and says, hey, we don't want to be in this position again. We want to be in the position to win these at the end. And right now, they simply flat out come back and win games. And it's all out there for us to see. Can they do it again?
Yeah, I definitely think so, especially at home, catching 4.5. I like it. I mean, I like the bet that the team at home is getting 4.5 points, and has that momentum, that juice, that I don't know, that the confidence that they can come back. And that's real important in the NFL when you're getting down the stretch and you gotta shout these games. I like the matchup. I like Caleb Williams. I think they're a good football team. I think they're underestimated. They've shown themselves, and I think when you give the Bears 4.5 at home, I like that bet.
Trent, so when this line moves from 3.5 to 4.5, right? So now they're begging you to take the Bears.
The Bears.
Right,
yes.
right. So yeah. So now break this down. Sharps, what are stupid people doing?
Yeah, you mentioned open 3.5, move to 4.5. Money's actually on the Bears, and that's that's some reverse line movement there. So the line's moving away from the Bears. Are getting more points, but they're getting a lot more of the bets. I like the Rams for that reason, and I think I know the weather is going to play a factor in this game. It's going to feel like -1 degrees. It's going to be windy, 18-mile-an-hour winds is what it says. Probably be a little gusty. And so the run games of these offenses is going to matter. Both teams are top 10 rushing offenses, but the Bears rushing defense is 27th in the league, 135 yards per game. And, Sean McVay, Ben Johnson, I think that matchup deserves some to be talked about a bit. Two of the best minds in the game. McVay's good friends with Matt LaFleur, who the Bears played last week. I'm sure he's given him some good insights,
yeah.
especially on the offensive defensive fronts. I think the Rams get this done on the ground. And another thing to mention, Puka Nacua is a hard-nosed football player. Those are the type of players you love to have in games like this. I think Puka changes the game. Rams get it done and cover the spread.
Yeah, Brandon, the first person that ever taught me betting. When you see a line move like that, you go with the Rams. Like I'd be loading up the Rams right now, just based off of the line movement. What are you doing here?
Yeah, I love the Rams in this game as well, and I agree with Trent. Just because of conditions, it's going to be more of a ground attack game. I think this game would be much more lopsided in the Rams' favor if this game was played in Los Angeles. But I think they still do enough. I mean, they're the better team. I mean, it's Matthew Stafford, Caleb Williams. Do I need to say more? Matthew Stafford's the better play caller, better quarterback. It's the Rams are just the better team all around. They're going to find a way to get this done.
But John, sometimes it's about confidence. Caleb Williams on that 4th and 8, where he just basically was the icon, the Michael Jordan jump logo. I mean, he's confident right now. Caleb, when you have a guy that might be the most talented quarterback in the NFL going against Matthew Stafford, coming off an MVP season, we've kind of lost that in the shuffle because they lost a few weeks ago, got themselves out of the number 1 seed contention. But this Rams team has the better coach and the better quarterback. In my opinion, what are you thinking here?
I'm going to bet the Rams. I'm going to lay the 4.5. Might go down to 4, I think, because the bookmakers here, they don't want to get caught in the middle of Rams win by 4. They lose both ends of the bet. So, but I think it's going to go to 4 as more Bears money comes in. But I'm going to lay it with the Rams. I think they're the better team. I'm with Trent. I don't see how the Bears stop this team on the ground. I'm also with Coach Vince, who said earlier, remember, this game was 21-3. I bet the Bears won the bet, but it was 21-3. And all of a sudden, LaFleur decides to play keep away, which never works, especially with an explosive offense like Chicago. So that was just dumb. And so, really, if you look at the Packers really should have beaten them 2 times straight, right? All they got to do is field an onside kick. That game's over. And if they kept playing the way in the second half they did in the first, they win that game. Bears are playing on, house money, borrowed time. I think the Rams go in there, get it done, win handily. I'm going to lay the 4.5 with the Rams.
Yeah, I think the weather is going to, play a factor in here, and I just don't think Chicago is going to ruin this West Coast NFC Championship game for Coach Vince. I mean, it's all laid out on the table for the West Coast to just dominate in the NFC this year. I just don't think Chicago's going to be able to do that. The defense for Chicago is the one that's just going to get exploited. I wouldn't expect that this Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford led offense is going to turn the ball over. They know how to play smart and they can go conservative. So I don't expect Stafford to air the ball out completely, but he's just not going to make mistakes. And the Bears need you to make mistakes or play prevent defense for 2 quarters to come back. I don't think they'll do that. And whoever brought that up, Trent, the LaFleur angle, I love that. And he hates Ben Johnson. He would do anything to give away key information to make that happen.
The drama.
And I love that line movement. I wish I would have bet it at 3.5, and then when I saw it, then I would have been more confident. But I'm taking the Rams minus 4.5 based off of all the analysis you all gave, and I got to do something after last.
And here's my college baseball prediction. University of Maryland Terps is going to win the Big Ten. This is the sneakiest team out there. Well, I've seen them. I've seen them in the fall, man. This team is going to score 7-8 runs a game, and now they got a pen. They brought in some really good players. Nobody's predicting they do anything. They're gonna win the Big Ten. They led the Big Ten last year in leads blown after the 7th inning. That is not going to happen
This is unbiased, by the way. This is unbiased.
I'm unbiased.
The road to the Big Ten title runs through Westwood. UCLA Bruins.
Well, we're going to be there, Coach
They're in
Vince
the
and I.
They're in the Big Ten.
Vince, are you
What?
going, Vince?
UCLA's in the
deal?
Big Ten. Are they really in
Look,
the Big Ten? Did
we
I not
all
know that?
they are fear the turtle because no one else does.
All right, I guess UCLA's in the Big Ten. News to me. I want to thank everybody for listening to the show. I'm Mitch Rogers. Thank you, Vince, John, Chris, Trent, and Brendan. Please stay tuned for Jay Delsing's golf show coming up right after this. Have fun watching some football. We'll see you here next week.
See you guys.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Great job.